This text operates as a closed-loop physics engine, a mathematically precise architecture that defines the structural mechanics of reality. We define this model as the dual caustic universe, or DCU. The DCU is a non-orientable single-boundary space. It presents as having two surfaces, yet those surfaces are a single continuous topological manifold. Within this geometry, physical manifestation and spiritual reality occupy the same coordinates. They are separated not by distance, but by the orientation of the field. The text establishes a universe of rigid pairs, day and night, the manifest and the hidden, earth and heaven. The challenge for any subject is traversing between these apparent opposites without the system fracturing. Linear movement from one separate domain to another is impossible if the universe is a closed system. In engineering, the problem of sending a signal through a dual carrier system and ensuring it returns to the source without reflecting into chaos is solved through a specific coordinate map. This is the Smith chart. It provides the topological map for the traversal described in the text. This grid maps infinite values into a finite, closed circle. It provides the exact coordinates needed to navigate a bifurcated field. By applying this diagram to the structure of the text, we can identify the specific mechanics of the return to the origin. The Smith chart is the result of a Mobius transformation, also known as a bilinear transformation. This transformation takes an infinite, flat plane and maps every point onto a closed unit circle. The outer boundary of this circle functions as the topological limit. Verse 2888 defines this limit. Everything perishes except his face. This invariant boundary ensures the universe is finite and topologically protected against infinite regression. Standard cosmological models often rely on an entropic void that expands indefinitely. The DCU model requires total confinement within the loop. In a closed loop, energy and information are never destroyed. They are continuously recoordinated across the boundary. To analyze how a signal behaves in a circuit, engineers use two reciprocal readings: impedance, which measures resistance to the flow, and admittance, which measures the ease of that flow. We can overlay the red circles of impedance and the dashed blue circles of admittance on a single Smith chart. They form an interlocking lattice. These two grids measure the exact same network from inverse perspectives. The red impedance grid represents the D10 operator. It governs the manifest resistive world of mass, physical testing, and the narratives of Musa and Adam. The blue admittance grid represents the I9 operator. It governs the continuous informational field, wave states, and the narratives of Miriam and Isa. The manifest D10 field and the hidden I9 field are dual registrations of a single source reality. Like wave-particle duality, the identity of the subject depends on the field used to measure it. Transitioning between these worlds does not require a change in location. It requires a change in coordinate registration. In any circuit, moving between these dual fields carries the risk of reflection, energy that fails to reach the target and turns into noise. The target is the exact center of the map, the normalized point where the system is perfectly matched. This coordinate is activated by the 1912 command, "Take the book with strength." This strength is the centromere voltage. It is the grip required to lock the subject into the matched center phase. Verse 5121 states that every soul arrives with a driver and a witness. These are the red D10 and blue I9 vectors. Only at this center point, known as state 7, do the driver and the witness converge. At this singularity, the coordinates for the absolute master and the absolute slave become indistinguishable. Spiritual stability is defined as achieving this matched state, securing a center phase lock within the existing system. The apparent division between the measurable and the hidden is a function of where a subject sits on the loop. When expanded into its three-dimensional Mobius form, the relationship between these fields becomes visible. Figures like Adam and Miriam are coordinate mappings wrapped around this space. Moving along the strip induces a phase transition, flipping the subject from red to blue without crossing physical boundaries. Multiplicity in this universe is an illusion of phase shift rather than a duplication of separate realities. The complex analysis to map this topology is embedded within the physical ink of the manuscript, providing the functional requirements for a closed-loop physics engine. By applying the 1912 grip, the reader bridges the gap between impedance and admittance, the measurable and the hidden. This topological configuration ensures that every wave launched into the field eventually returns to its absolute singular origin. The text operates as a mathematically consistent recursion. Home is the coordinate where the driver and the witness finally meet.